Purpose, your ancestors, and whether you walk in your path or not. Because some of y'all are a little off. And they will tell you, you're off a little bit. They will tell you, you're supposed to take a job somewhere. Don't take it. They'll tell you, you had one too many abortions, young lady. Your great-great-grandmama ain't feeling you. You're going to have to offer a major sacrifice. And it happens. Brother, you've been a cookie monster too damn long. And your grandfather was a committed black. I'm serious. And let me say this, and I'll close on the spirituality. But again, you can always contact me if you want a real reading. I have another member of my spiritual team, but he does not do readings unless you are in the tradition. He only reads Ifa devotees, which means you got to be within the family of Lukumi, Palo, Santeria, Obia, Ifa, or he won't touch you. The rest of them will. We also believe, as the Hebrews, as the Muslims, as the Christians, that there's no redemption without sacrifice. We believe in sacrifice, not humans. Some of y'all look like, damn, but I gotta know. Depending on the block and obstacle in your path, that depends the size of the sacrifice. When people hear about African religion, they say, oh yeah, y'all kill all them animals and stuff. But what you fail to realize is we eat the animals we kill. Yeah. And we don't pump them full of drugs like the restaurant you're about to eat at tonight. That food, we eat that, and it's good. Okay? But blood is redemptive. And if you're Christian, you should understand this. Because you believe God sent his only son as a blood sacrifice for your sins. So I'm trying to understand how people who believe that God sent his son as a blood sacrifice for their sins can have a problem.
Hello.
With people who spill blood for our redemption. Because blood contains what? Ashe. The divine energy of the universe. So guess what? You cheated on your husband, you might got to do a sheep. You might got to do a damn horse. No, I'm serious. If a woman can't get pregnant, and there's an ancestral block, because a lot of y'all can't get pregnant because you got ancestral blocks. It ain't because of your biology. You got an ancestral block that got to be removed. So you might got to do a couple of pigeons, a couple of turkeys, a couple of quail, a couple of turtles. It all depends. You got to pay a spiritual cost. But sometimes you can get a simple sacrifice. Don't eat no meat for 10 days. Simple. Go to your ancestors' graveyard and offer them some flowers and a plate of food. Simple. Don't eat no white beans as an offering to Obatala for 10 days. No white for Obatala because you need higher consciousness. You're weak right now. You need Ogun energy. So go and take some meat into the forest to Ogun and offer a prayer and leave it there. Go to the ocean and put a watermelon with 7 candles in it for Mama Yemoja, the great divine mother of the universe energy. Sacrifices ain't always blood. Most of you, when you get your reading, you're going to have to do sacrifices, but it's going to be very, very simple things, but you must honor your sacrifices. Yesterday we was at the restaurant, and the food was good. And they had plantains on the menu. And I love me some fried plantain. But guess what? One of my taboos for the 2018 year, I can't eat no plantain. Do I know why? No. But the priest said, that's in your reading, no plantain. I wanted to cheat my ass off. But if I would have ate the plantain, I would pay for it later. Ifa is called the system of half-truth. God only gives you a little bit of truth. Because your whole life is a mystery that you got to figure out on your own. And the beauty of African religion is you ain't got to leave the church. The beauty of African religion is it's not a religion. You could be a Christian and still practice Ifa. You could be a Muslim and still do voodoo. Now don't get me wrong. You got evil people in every system. Just like yours, the church. There's evil people in African religion, so you want to take your time. Don't let anybody access your spirit. Your spirit is sacred. You don't just walk up to a stranger and say, read me. You put a damn white devil on your ass. Make sure you know what you're doing. But African religion saved my life. I would never even be in it had it not been for my first trip to Africa. 2005, 13 years ago, I remember it like yesterday. I was Minister of Education for Marcus Garvey's UNIA. I went to Ethiopia for a week, South Africa for a week, building with Garveyites, Nigeria for a week, met with the son of the Nnamdi Azikiwe, the liberator of Nigeria. And then I went to synagogue. Now I was raised Muslim and Christian. I go into the female slave dungeon with a bottle of water. I said, you know what? I'm going to try this libation stuff. I got down on one knee, female dungeons, Goree Island Synagogue, start pouring libation, asking my ancestors to help me help my people. Give me what I need to get African liberation done. I start crying, and then the tears came down even heavier. So I got out the dungeon because the tears felt heavier than my tears. I went back in, finished the libation, got back to my hotel room that night. We stayed out in a rural hotel. Called my mom on the payphone, let her know ain't nobody trying to eat me or nothing, because you know black folks think Africans is crazy. Okay? I got back to my hotel room. I'm giving y'all the God's honest truth. I'm wide awake. This is not no dream. I sit down on my bed right after being in Goree Island a few hours earlier. All of a sudden I start hearing chains, whips, screams, animals. Something start tapping me in my third eye, just like this hard. I'm wide awake. The sun is still up. It ain't even dark. And then when I would try to lay down, something kept pushing me with two hands, but I don't have a roomie. I rolled to this side of the bed, it pushes me again. I rolled to that, I'm ready to pee on myself because I never heard of nothing like this. First thing I said is, this is some of that evil voodoo. I should never call up the ancestors. So then all of a sudden I get back to America and I start experiencing coincidences. Somebody I haven't seen for years, I'll think of them, they'll call my phone. Somebody's looking for a certain book, it's in my hand. I need a certain amount of money, it shows up unexpectedly. Coincidences, popping, and then guess what? I get invited to speak in South Carolina. And guess where the brother brings me? The Oyotunji African village. I didn't even know I was going. Sat down, got my first read from Chief Olaitan, who was in the Nat Turner movie. He did my reading. He said, those were your ancestors who came to your glory. It ain't nothing for you to be scared of. They were not trying to make you scared. They were celebrating your return because they've been waiting too long for you to get there. 5 years after that, I get a phone call from a brother in Chicago, African Hebrew brother, Dawa Yisrael. He says, somebody just sent me an article you wrote on special ed. I have a talk show in Chicago. I can't afford to get you here, but if you can get here, I want to put you on my show. I said, Chicago? Damn Skippy, I'm coming. That's the second biggest black community in America. I fly to Chicago. I do the interview with Dawa Israel, psychoacademic Holocaust. Then I go to Harlem, New York, first time. I speak at the National Black Theater, 125th and 5th, the night before Halloween 2010. So Chicago, the second biggest city, September 18th. New York, the first biggest city, the night before Halloween. Back to back, unplanned. I take copies of the Chicago interview on a DVD. I have them available in Harlem. I do my lecture, Miseducation of the Negro, Part 4, Post-Traumatic Slavery. I go back home to Philly. I didn't think nothing of it, Ross. Within 24 hours, my name was known all across the world. I'm getting phone calls from Europe, Africa, Canada, this. I said, wait a minute. I've been struggling for African people all my life. But then all of a sudden, I go from local to international. I'm here in front of you now because the ancestors put me here.
Yes.
And I ain't never turned back. And I got a lot of hate along the way. I got elders, people who y'all love in America, who hated on me behind my back. They were jealous because they used to be the one. And they used to be this. And they used to be this until E5T, they came and kicked the damn door and said, I am Shaka Zulu! Then they start saying, does he really got a doctorate? And is he really this? And is he really that? And I go through this and I go through that because of jealousy and petty envies. But through the grace of God and the strength of the ancestors, I'm still here. I'm not going to stop. Who's my number 2? Who's the real number 2? Where at? Oh, here's my brother. Now, we got to be out of this room at 3:30. So we got about 15 minutes, and then we're going to go to the gazebo for those of y'all who want to take pictures or get your book or t-shirt signed. My brother.
Very insightful and thought-provoking.
Thank you.